What's going on, everyone? It's Nick and I'm back with another video. We're here to talk about some baseball. As you can see from the title, got some pretty big news. But before we begin, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Also, I want to talk about some hoops yesterday. Bradley Beal scoring 60 and the Wizards still losing. Fire Scott Brooks. I'm not sure which is worse between the Wizards defense and the Capitals defense. At least the football team can play defense though. But if you're in DC and you're watching this, please stay safe. Also, Donald Trump, you're a coward. And also, Gordon Hayward dropped 44 last night. But we're here to talk about baseball, like as you can see in the title. So yeah, Francisco Lindor to the New York Mets. This is big. And they also got Carlos Carrasco. We're going to cover all of that. And also, I just want to talk about my last video. I did a Sporkle quiz naming as many of the Super Bowl MVPs as I possibly can. And I did really well on the quiz, but it barely got any views. So I'll leave a link to that in the description and also put it in the end screen. Got all that out of the way. Play the intro and let's talk some baseball. So, New York Mets fans, you have every good reason to be very pumped right now. You just got Francisco Lindor, who is definitely a top 5 shortstop in all of baseball. Arguably the best. I'm not completely sold on him being the best myself, but he's undeniably a top 5 shortstop in all of baseball. So let's talk about it. And no, I'm not salty, by the way. Sorry if I'm disappointing you, to let you know that no, I'm not flipping out. I didn't think that the Yankees would get Francisco Lindor anyways. Gleyber is our shortstop, and I want DJ LeMahieu back at second base for the Yankees for the upcoming years. If they don't re-sign DJ LeMahieu, then you can expect to see me salty. But no, I'm not salty at all over the Mets getting Francisco Lindor or Carlos Carrasco. No, I'm not salty at all, just so you know. If Francisco Lindor is still very much in his physical prime, I just checked while writing the script for this. I'm only a month older than him. And here is where he's in some very elite company. He's one of just 5 players in Major League history to have 3 consecutive seasons or more with at least 30 home runs and 40 doubles. The other 4 are Lou Gehrig, Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, and Alfonso Soriano. And he's also a switch hitter, and aside from what he can do at the plate, he can steal between 15 to 25 bases, and he's an elite defensive shortstop. 2020, Lindor had a down year, but don't let that fool you, because a lot of other star level players had a down year in just 60 games. We can also keep in mind that not only was it a 60 game season, he was also going into a season where he knew that he was going to get traded, so that may have been in his head during the season. But he still had a WRC plus of 100, which is the league average, but we should all know that he's easily better than league average. His ISO was at 157, which is still above the league average of 140, just not as good as what he would typically do. His percentage of batted balls with an exit velocity of 95 miles per hour or better was at a career high at 41.1% in 2020. He's not a guy who walks a lot. He's never had a walk rate of 10% or higher. He still walks a lot more than Ahmed Rosario though, and we'll talk about him later. But the Mets just got their first perennial all-star shortstop since Jose Reyes, and you should be excited about that. On top of that, Francisco Lindor has amazing charisma. So, for what I said about Francisco Lindor, yeah, kudos to you, Steve Cohen. I gotta tip my hat, and yeah, all this, yeah, I'm growing out my hair for this winter to keep my head warm, but yeah. Tipping my hat to Steve Cohen. Good riddance to the Wilpons, right, Mets fans? But hey, it doesn't stop there. Not only did you get Francisco Lindor, you also got Carlos Carrasco, because you know you need pitching depth. Outside of Jacob deGrom in 2020, the starting pitching just wasn't there. And with Noah Syndergaard, if he can come back healthy, he's a question mark right now. When he's healthy, he's definitely a really good number 2, but that is yet to be seen post Tommy John surgery. And you also got Marcus Stroman coming back. We will also have to see about him after he missed the entire 2020 season. But you know what though? Having Francisco Lindor will significantly benefit Marcus Stroman, knowing he's a ground ball pitcher, because you get Francisco Lindor playing lights out defense behind him. but we got to talk more about Carlos Carrasco and what he'll bring to the Mets. But first off, Carlos Carrasco beat cancer in 2019. You beat cancer, you're the man in my book. Now, Carlos Carrasco's 2019 ERA looks really bad, but don't you dare let that fool you. He also posted a SIERA of 353 in 2019. His SIERA went up to 391 in 2020 despite having an ERA of 291 in 2020. It's weird how that works. But you know what though, he doesn't walk a lot of batters and has a very high K rate, and that's been consistently between 25 to 29% since 2014. If we want to look at total strikeouts, he struck out over 200 batters in both 2017 and 18. So again, great job by the Mets. Even though you know I'm not a Mets fan, I'm going to give my credit when it's due. So now let's look at what the Indians got. Let's start with Amed Rosario. Amed Rosario is coming off a rough 2020 season. Damn, those numbers are really bad. He's never been all that consistent though. In 2019 he got off to a really rough start, but he did a total 180 in the second half of that season. And I wouldn't say he's a horrible player, but he's certainly no Francisco Lindor, neither as a hitter nor is he even close defensively. Not to mention he's a year older. So that's what the Indians are going to get at shortstop. Definitely a downgrade, but there's more to this trade. Next, there's Andres Gimenez. He played 49 games last season and played pretty well. He's also a very good defensive player. And I assume the Indians won't re-sign Cesar Hernandez. I don't know. But Andres Gimenez certainly won't be a bad replacement for him. Next, we have Josh Wolf, a 20-year-old who was a second-round pick in the 2019 draft. He had a near 14K per 9 in 5 games in rookie ball. He's 6'3", and his fastball tops at 97 miles per hour. And he has a filthy curveball. And you know what the Indians are known for, developing pitchers, so watch out for Josh Wolf down the line. Now on to Isaiah Green, a 19-year-old outfielder who was the 69th overall pick last year. He's a lefty bat with a ton of speed and plays great defense. Now he doesn't have a lot of power, but maybe he can develop that in the Indians farm system. If he does, oh, the sky is the limit for him. And since the Indians lost Michael Brantley Jr. to the Astros, they haven't had a good outfield since. Like, they haven't had anyone in that outfield since they lost Michael Brantley Jr. Overall, not the worst return you can get for Lindor, but I think that the Indians could have asked for more, but then again, not bad, and guys that it could be really good for them down the line. But Mets fans, or okay, first Indians fans, Fuzzy, I'm sure you're not watching this, but if by small chance you are, my condolences to you and also the rest of the Indians fan base. Even though you knew this day was going to come, you lost Francisco Lindor and Carlos Carrasco, so you know you're taking another step back this upcoming season and not getting any closer than you were to winning the World Series in 2016 for quite a while, and I don't blame you for being upset. But Mets fans have every good reason to be excited as hell right now. But don't think that the Mets are done yet. Even though with what they have right now, there's really no excuse for them to miss the playoffs in 2021, expanded playoffs or not. I don't think the Mets are done. They could even get George Springer. And yes, I know, but still, George Springer is a hell of a player. Let's not get carried away. You'd definitely rather have George Springer on your team than not. And he would definitely be a significant upgrade in center field over Brandon Nimmo. And then with Robinson Cano suspended for all of 2021, which also saves the Mets a lot of money, giving them more to spend, and also leaves a hole at second base, which is easy to fill in. You just put in Jeff McNeil in there and have Brandon Nimmo playing the corner outfield positions, because you know he's not good in center field, but he can play in the corners. And you also got Michael Conforto, so you get Springer in there, and that's a hell of an outfield trio you got for the Mets. Looking at this lineup from top to bottom, also with the addition of James McCann, this is a very potent New York Mets lineup, and it's a lineup that I just can't imagine missing the playoffs. Then you got Jacob deGrom as your ace, and then followed by Noah Syndergaard if he's healthy and comes back strong from Tommy John surgery. Marcus Stroman if he also can come back strong, and again, having Francisco Lindor is going to really help him. And you got Carlos Carrasco. I guess Steven Matz will be your fifth guy. Okay, for a fifth starter, Steven Matz is not that bad. And I'd say move Seth Lugo back to the bullpen. At least Edwin Diaz did a total 180 from his disastrous 2019 season. Still got to work on that bullpen a little bit, but overall I think that this team is set to make some noise in the National League. I don't think this team has any excuse to miss the playoffs. So that's it for now. Please remember to like this video, and if you haven't yet, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I will see you next time.